Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am so excited to share 4 fabulous fall projects using the Rustic Harvest Suite from the Stampin' Up! July-December mini catalog. Now, I don't know how you feel about fall, but I love fall. I love everything about it. I love the cool, crisp temperatures, the blue skies, the falling leaves, the colors are just, oh, love them. And of course, I love me some pumpkins. And I love me some mums, and I just love everything about it. I don't love what comes after fall in that it's winter, but I sure do love the fall season while it's here. So the Rustic Pumpkin Suite is it spoke directly to my soul when I saw it in the catalog. And I knew that it would be mine, and I knew that it would be a favorite, and indeed it is. So I have 4 projects I'm going to share with you today. I've got some other ideas that I'm going to show you at the end. I'm also going to show you a sneak peek of my upcoming Soft Seedlings class, which is another fall-based class. So we got a jam-packed day. So are you ready to do some stamping? Now let me pull up my video here on my iPad so I can see who is watching. Anybody out there? Let's see. If you're watching, give me a hello and a heads up. Hi, Karen. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining me today. All right, so we are going to get to some fall crafting. I know fall is not everybody's favorite season, but it sure is mine. And, well, I got married in the fall specifically because I wanted to have fall flowers and pumpkins and gourds and all that fun stuff as my wedding decor. So we're going to do some crafting. As I said, 4 projects, 3 cards in a cute little box I'm going to share with you today. So settle in. I'm going to flip the camera. I'm going to show you the products in the suite, and then we're going to get to it. Okay, so let's do the flipperoo, and away we go here. Sorry, a little wobbly there. Just want to get this good and tight so we're not sagging. There we go. Looks pretty good. Okay, let's see who else has joined us. Hi, Krista. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Deb. Welcome, welcome. So, Rustic Harvest, love the layout in the catalog. It gets a fair bit of real estate. It's got a 2-page spread. Just such beautiful project inspiration. So, one of the things I love about our catalogs is that they don't only have product, but they have beautiful project ideas. So, if you ever get stuck or in a sort of creative rut, try recreating something that is in the catalog. And I find that always gets my creative juices going. So let's have a look at these products up close. So we have, it's a suite, so we have several coordinating products, starting of course with our bundle. It's always the anchor of any of our product suites. So we have a beautiful stamp set that has my pumpkin, it's got my flowers, some sunflowers, it's got a beautiful sort of distressed leaf stamp, some lovely sentiments, and some fun little flourishes. So that's the stamp set, and then of course we have coordinating dies. So some of the dies cut out the stamped images, but then we have a fabulous pumpkin, actually 2 different pieces that you can create pumpkins with, and some fun vines that we can add to our pumpkins, and of course the stem. So great little bundle here. And then of course we have some embellishments. So these are the leaf and label combo. So these are like little tags. The holes actually come pre-punched in these. They're sort of a craft cardstock with the hole punched, and then these beautiful sort of amber colored gems. Great addition, really cute. I saw somebody did a cute little fall banner that I think I'm gonna have to case to put on my mantle for Thanksgiving. But I just love those little embellishments, and I love that they're die cut already and that they have the holes. So you don't have to have, you know, a cut and emboss machine to use these. They're all ready to go. All right, and then of course we have beautiful DSP. I'm on my 2nd pack of this, and I think it's on low inventory. At least it was the last time I checked. So if you haven't scooped up this paper yet, you're gonna want to do it, okay? And I'm gonna show you why. So we have beautiful patterns. We've got a sort of Cajun Craze stripe. We've got our gourds. Love this sort of brocade pattern in crushed curry. Loads of pumpkins. Look, I don't even have a full sheet of this pattern left. We've got the sort of vines, and then these beautiful mums. And then of course when we flip it over, we get black and white patterns. So love black and white because they work with everything. This plaid, as you can see, has been well loved. We've got a diagonal stripe. Love, love, love this oak leaf pattern. You're going to see that one today. And then some leaves, which are just begging to be colored. So beautiful DSP in this suite. Absolutely love it. So we're going to make some projects. I have, as I said, 4 I'm going to show you. The first one we're going to do is this one. Now this one's all, I'm just looking at my camera here and I'm seeing how crooked this is. This is all about the DSP, this particular card. The only stamping on here is my sentiment and my little sort of curlicues here. So we're going to put this one together. I realized I forgot to grab my punch, so I'm going to grab that right now. There we go. Got it handy, and we are good to go. So I'm going to pull out all my little bits here. And I'm going to show you how to put this one together. This is pretty straightforward. So we're starting with a piece of that beautiful DSP. We have the Cajun Craze stripe on one side and the leaves on the other. This is cut to 4 by 5 1/4 inches. Okay. Then I have a die cut stitched rectangle. So this is from the Stitched Rectangle dies. I think it might be the 3rd largest one. I can't quite remember. I will put the dimensions in the description afterwards so you know what we're working with here. But this is, again, just die cut from the DSP. So there's our pumpkins. And then I just cut a mat to go behind my pumpkin. So you could certainly use another stitched rectangle die, but I love me some narrow borders. So I measured and cut my own mat. And again, I'll give you the dimensions for this in the video description after I'm done. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is layer our pumpkins onto our black mat here. So I'm gonna throw a little adhesive on. Hi, Julie. Welcome. Hi, Holly. Hi, Joyce. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are all about fall today. It actually feels like fall outside. It's really quite a lovely day. So there are my pumpkins. Now, when I was designing this card, I had originally omitted this vellum piece, but I found that my sort of focal image here kind of got lost against my sort of busy pumpkin DSP. So this is a little design tip. If you are working with a DSP that has bold images or is a little bit busier, you can tone it down by just adding a vellum layer. Okay, so all that's going to do is just kind of soften the images in the DSP so that whatever I put on top stands out a little bit more. We still see the images, but it's just softened a little bit. It's kind of like adding a filter to a photo. So this piece, again, is die cut using the stitched rectangles from our vellum cardstock, and I've got something sticky on the back of that. Now, the trick with vellum is your adhesive will show. So if I kind of put adhesive all the way around, like I did when I put this pumpkin layer down, I'm going to see that adhesive through the vellum. So we need to be a little bit strategic when we add our adhesive. So we're going to kind of put our adhesive across this sort of just below middle here, because I know that that's going to get covered when I add my focal image. So I'm going to put a little bit there and just a little bit below it. Okay. And then I'm going to center this on my DSP and stick it down. You see how you can see that adhesive there. Okay. So that's kind of unavoidable. You can use the adhesive sheets with vellum and they don't show very much. You might see a little hint of it. But when you're using tape or liquid glue or anything like that, you will see it through your vellum. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of ribbon. I love this black and white gingham ribbon. I use it a lot. So we're going to just add a little bit right across the front of our card. And of course, I forgot to bring my ribbon scissors over. So we're going to use our paper snips, which really I shouldn't be doing, but you'll forgive me this one time, right? So we're going to add a glue dot to either end of our gingham ribbon. And then we're going to lay this across here. And so this is going to go, I don't know, it's about 2/3 of the way down or 1/3 up. So thinking in thirds, that's another little design tip. You want to split your card design into thirds rather than halves or quarters. Okay. And then that is going to go on here. We're not going to put it on just yet. We're going to add our focal image and whatnot first, and then we will layer it. So I have here some pumpkins that I just fussy cut from some more of this pumpkin DSP. And we're going to arrange these. They're going to kind of hang out. Just kind of want to think about where I want them to go. I think I'm going to put this guy here. I might put this guy up top and this guy here. So they're all going to kind of form a little pyramid here. I'm not going to stick it down just yet because I'm just going to place my label here. And I want to make sure that I'm going to see those pumpkins kind of peeking out from behind. I don't want to cover them completely. I think that looks good. So now I'm going to take and add a couple of dimensionals to stick my pumpkins down. So we'll take this guy first. And we'll go 1 and a 2. Get rid of our backings. And we'll pop him back on. And because this is going on a larger layer, I can have my leaves hanging off the edge and not worry about it not fitting in my envelope. So I don't need to worry too much about that. Let's get this guy out of the way for a sec. And then we'll add him. And before I put him on, I'm going to put my label back on again, just to make sure, again, when I put this on, that I'm going to be able to see my little pumpkin peeking out the top there. So we'll get rid of our backings. And we're just going to position that to make sure we see our little pumpkin there. Okay, I'm not really worried about the layering there because that's going to get hidden. Okay, all right, now we can glue this onto our background piece. So we'll add a little bit of adhesive. And we're going to pop this on, centered on here. So it's not going to have an equal border all the way around. You'll have a slightly larger border top and bottom than you do side to side. But the lines on this DSP certainly help with getting it straight. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and stick that down onto our card base. Our card base is basic black cardstock. It's 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So we'll fold that in half along our score line. And then we're going to add some adhesive to the back of our DSP panel here. And then we're going to pop that on to our card base. And I love the way the black border just makes everything pop. I just love that look. Okay. All right. So let's work on our label. So we have this cute little label. It's punched using, I think it's the handmade tag punch. It's from the mini. Can't quite remember the name of it right now. Somebody who's watching maybe can check the catalog and look it up for me real quick. But I'm going to stamp this little sort of curlicue swirly in each of the 4 corners on this little tag. I'm just using Memento black ink. So we're going to go all the way around. And it honestly is like this little curlicue is made for this punch. It's not, but it works so perfectly that why not, right? Okay, then I have a little scrap of white cardstock. We are going to ink our hello stamp. So this again is from the Rustic Harvest. Is it Rustic Harvest? Hello Harvest stamp set. And I'm going to stamp this centered on my little scrap here. And then we're going to punch it out using this Label Me Fancy punch. This is the one that I went to grab when I started. So we're going to center that in there. Hopefully get it straight and pop it out. We'll get that out of the way. And then this is going to get popped up on our little label here, centered. Thanks, Krista. Yeah, I love the way that little curlicue works in this punch. Like I said, you'd think it was made for it. But it was just a happy little accident that I discovered how well they work together. So we're going to just center that there. Just like, ooh, is that straight? Not quite. Let's fix that. There we go. That's better. And then I'm just going to put a bit of tape on the back of this, and we're going to stick it right on top of our pumpkins here. Because if you'll recall, they're already popped. So we don't want to get too poppy here. So we'll put that on. And then we're going to add a cute little gingham bow. So I'll make my bunny ears. Cross left over right. Bring it around and through. And make my bow. Now that's a really ugly bow, right? And a lot of people, if they did that, they would think, oh, I can't tie good bows. Yes, you can. You just have to tease the bow out of what you have tied. So play with it a little bit and you will get something that you're happy with. So we'll trim our tails and we're going to add this just sort of right at the corner where of the tag there with a glue dot. So let's just press the knot of our bow into a glue dot here. And stick that on right there. Okay, and then we're going to add a little bling with some champagne rhinestones. Now, these are the perfect rhinestones for fall, I think, because they sort of have like a yellowish or gold sort of undertone to them. And they work just so perfectly with fall color palettes. Oh, I realized I did. Oh, there's my other one. It kind of moved. We'll put this guy. Oh, sure. We'll put him down there too. And there we go. There is our finished card. On the inside of my sample, I added another little strip of the DSP and a pumpkin that I actually cut from the edge of the DSP piece. It was cut off, but I thought it would work if I had it sort of hanging off the edge of my insert. So there we go. There's number one. Done and done. Moving on. We're kind of plowing through today because I got 4 projects to share with you. It sure would be a lovely thank you card for Thanksgiving, as would this. So this, I think, would be a lovely card to send maybe to someone who's unable to attend Thanksgiving dinner, or someone who's maybe moved away and it's you know, too far away to gather with family. They're on their own. So I thought this was just a really simple, pretty card. I actually made this from scraps that was on my desk. Every once in a while, I have to clean up my desk, and I find all kinds of little odds and ends and scraps and things that I've cut and not used on projects. And this was one of them. So I had all these bits and pieces for the pumpkin. I had a stamped floral. I had these little labels. I'm like, okay, we're going to do something with this. And this is what I came up with, and I kind of like it. So let me show you how I did it. We're going to start with our background. Can you believe this started as this? Big difference, eh? So this is just Crumb Cake cardstock. It's 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and I've embossed it using the new Leaf Fall embossing folder. So this one's in the mini. It's a gorgeous folder. I really can't get enough of it. And I'm going to come in with my blending brush and some soft suede ink. And we are going to apply a little bit of ink to our Crumb Cake cardstock. And one thing that this is going to do is really bring out the embossing. The embossed raised image is going to pick up more ink than the background, so it's just going to kind of pop. And it's also going to darken down our Crumb Cake cardstock to kind of make it look a little bit aged, a little bit vintage, and a little more rustic. So if you have not used our blending brushes before, you don't know what you're missing. So I get a lot of people who tell me they don't like to blend ink because they can't get it to blend evenly. They get splotches. It doesn't look good. And I have to say, you got to try our blending brushes because they are so easy to use. It's almost impossible to apply too much pressure with these because they have a flexible head. Do you see that? See how that moves? So when I'm pressing down, if I press too hard, all that happens is the head flexes, okay? So it's really hard to get, you know, splotches or uneven color because you can't press too hard. It's pretty much impossible with these things. All right, so that looks pretty good. There is our background. Super easy to make that with our beautiful blending brushes. And then we are going to adhere this to a card base cut from early Espresso cardstock. So this is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inches. So different configuration, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So we're just going to fold that in half along our score line. Yes, I agree, Laura. They are a delight. I love them. And it's, yeah, you're right. A little bit of practice on some scrap cardstock, and you will be away to the races. They really are quite wonderful to work with. And they last forever. You can clean them, you can wash them. And like, I'm still on my original ones. I actually have never ever washed my brushes. I have sort of a brush for each sort of color. And then when I want to change shades of that color, I just kind of brush on my grid paper to get rid of most of the excess, and then I switch color or switch shades. I don't switch colors, I switch shades. And so I found that I haven't had to clean them. So they're pretty awesome. All right, let's put together our pumpkin. So I have 3 little die cuts. So this is cut using, let me pull up my dies here, this little die here. We could do a large pumpkin with this one, but I like building sort of a larger pumpkin with the 3 pieces. So these are cut from pumpkin pie cardstock, and then I have sponged them both with the blending brush and with a sponge dauber using Cajun Craze ink. And again, I just like that it kind of darkens down. Look at, I've even done more on here than I did on here. I just like that it kind of it dulls down that bright pumpkin pie color and gives you a little bit more of a rich orange. Okay, so we're basically just going to layer these. I'm going to lay my two, and you'll notice that on this one I didn't bother sponging this side because it's going to be hidden, right? So I just kind of did the outside edges, and then this one I did all the way around. So I'm just going to add a little bit of tape to the back of, actually I'm going to do these one at a time, it's easier. The back of my center piece there, and then we add our little pumpkins. Isn't that cute? All right, so I'm going to come in, this is the stem for my pumpkin, and I'm just going to come in with my blender brush here, now that I took all that ink off. I'm going to come in with a little bit of soft suede ink, and I'm just going to blend a little bit of ink onto the stem, again, just to darken it down a little bit. There we go. All right, so this is going to get glued to the top of our pumpkin like that. So we'll add just a little bit of tape. And we're going to just stick that to the back of our pumpkin. Isn't that cute? So cute. And then we're going to add one of these sweet little vines. So as I said, there are 3 vine dies in the die set. And I cut these from Mossy Meadow cardstock and used a little bit of adhesive sheets on the back. It makes these super easy to use. It is, the first time I used these, I did not use adhesive sheets. And I regretted it because it's a little bit of pain in the bum to try and get the adhesive, especially the liquid glue, onto the back of them. So adhesive sheets are your friend. So there is our sweet little pumpkin. Okay, now I have the floral image that I've already stamped and started coloring. I thought I would finish coloring it and show you what I did. So for the flowers, I'm going to color first with the dark pumpkin pie Stampin' Blends. So I'm going to color all of my petals with the dark pumpkin. And we'll go all the way around. You do not need a lot of ink. The ink from these Stampin' Blends just goes on so easily and so smoothly. They really are lovely to work with. I've heard a lot of people say they're nervous about alcohol markers. These are so easy to use. Now I'm coming in with some dark Cajun Craze, and I'm just going to add just a little bit of the dark, kind of where the shading marks are on the petals there, and that's it. Okay, I didn't do anything fancy there. To color the center, this is one of the Natural Tones Stampin' Blends. This is SU300, so it's a fairly dark brown. So I'm going to color the centers of my flowers in the brown. And I like to kind of go all the way around and just make sure that there's no white showing, so it's well colored. And I don't know why I pulled this in because I've already done all the coloring with this one. This is my light Mossy Meadow that I used for my leaves. Don't know why I brought that one. Already colored. All right, so we're going to adhere our flowers so they're just kind of peeking out from behind our pumpkin here. So I'm going to add a little bit of seal just along the edge, upper edge of the pumpkin. And we're just going to kind of tuck that there like that. Okay. And then that is going to get glued to the front of our card. We're going to add a couple dimensionals and pop them up. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, keeping in mind that I'm going to want to tuck my sentiment in here, which is why I didn't put a dimensional there. I might put one up here too, just to make sure that stays put. So we'll get rid of our backings. Come on. There we go. And we'll pop this right on there like that. Okay, and then we're going to stamp our sentiment. So these 2 labels are from the All That die. So it's part of the masculine suite from the annual catalog. And the dies in that suite actually have some really fantastic label dies. And these 2 just happen to layer quite nicely. So the oval is cut from Crumb Cake cardstock. I'm going to ink up my You Are Missed stamp and center it. I'm stamping in Early Espresso ink, okay? And then we're just gonna layer that onto our Early Espresso label to put behind it. So we're just gonna center that on there and hope it's relatively straight, okay? And then this is gonna tuck in behind our pumpkin a little bit, and we're gonna pop that up as well. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. And we're going to just slide that in there just like that. Super cute. And that's that. I didn't add a bow to this one. I was tempted, but I resisted the urge because I thought this would be a good one to send even to a masculine recipient. So sometimes bows and bling are not so appropriate on man cards. So there we go. Okay, number 2, done and done. I told you we were going to fly through these because I want to show you 4 things today. All right, moving on. We have this fun one. So this is a new to me, fun fold. So I've done book fold cards many times. I've done gatefold cards many times. But this one is kind of a hybrid. It's a book fold gatefold. Okay, so this is sealed shut. These guys open. Really, really cute. So I'm going to show you how to do that one. All right. So I'm going to need some cardstock, and I'm going to need my trimmer because we're going to do a little scoring. I'm going to show you how to score this one. So we are starting with just your standard 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. So this is half a piece of 8 1/2 by 11. Okay, I'm going to slide this in so that my long side is at the top. And I am going to score at 2 inches. So I'm going to line that left edge up and score at 2 inches. And then at 3 1/2. And then at 9. Make sure that's even. There we go. And that's it. Like 3 score lines. This is a super easy fun fold. So if you are someone who is relatively new to stamping and you're a little hesitant maybe to try a fun fold, this is a great first one to try because it's really not difficult. Okay, so I've got my 3 score lines. I am going to fold, not the outside one, but the second one, I'm going to fold inwards. Just line up my edges, make sure it's nice and even. And I'm going to burnish that with my bold folder. Then I'm going to fold this one in on my outside. And you should, if all goes as planned, your edges should line up. Okay. And then we need to fold this one back because that is going to allow the other panel to open once we glue our spine down for our book fold. Okay. So we end up with something that looks like that. Okay. Then we're going to decorate. So I have some pieces of that beautiful DSP, and I decided to use reverse sides of the same pattern. Okay, I just thought it would be fun to use both sides. So I have 5 pieces cut. This one is cut to 1 3/8 by 4 1/8, and it is going to go on this narrow little panel that is going to form the spine of my book fold. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add that. And whenever I'm doing narrow borders, I like to use a little bit of liquid glue, just to make sure that I can wiggle things into place and get them nice and straight. I love the little acorns in this pattern, this black and white DSP. It's just so fun. And then I have 4 pieces. They're all, as I said, cut from the same piece of DSP that are 1 7/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, so I'm going to use one pattern on the front. The others I'm going to use on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead, I have a dimensional backing stuck to my shirt for the 3000th time. So we're going to put a little bit of glue on here and stick this guy down. And again, I'm just paying attention to my edges of my DSP, making sure they line up nice and even and straight. Okay, so that's going to close like that. So then we're going to add another panel to the other side. Same dimensions, 1 7/8 by 2, sorry, 1 7/8 by 4 1/8, I should say. And this one, again, I'm going to close it so that I can once again line up my edges and make sure everything's nice and straight. Okay, so that is the front of my card. These 2 panels are actually going to go on the inside of my gatefold. Nothing here because that's going to get glued flat, but we're going to stick these guys on here. So we'll go ahead and do that. Pop this one on here. There we go. And we'll pop this one on here. There we go. Okay, so we've got all of our panels decorated. Now, before we glue this flat, because again, this is a book fold, gatefold, so we're going to glue this flat, or glue this shut in just a moment. We're going to add a little bit of that fabulous gingham ribbon. I think I have just enough on this roll to do that. So I'm going to start by just adding a glue dot to the back of one end. And we'll center that on that narrow little spine piece. And then I'm going to trim this off. And before I glue this, I'm actually going to twist my ribbon. And I'll show you why in a sec. I'm going to add a glue dot to the other end. And stick it down. So my little twist here, do you see how this actually looks like it's tied? Do you see how it's kind of gathered underneath the knot? So in order to create that illusion, I twist my ribbon and add a glue dot to hold it in place. I'm going to take my take your pick. I'm just going to pick up a glue dot, and I'm going to pick up my ribbon, slide my glue dot under, and then press it into the glue dot there. We're not going to see that glue dot as soon as we add our bow, okay? But that is going to create the illusion of tied ribbon. All right. I don't like tying things that are lying flat. It's hard to get your bows even, and it's just awkward. So this is a really easy cheater way. Plus, you don't waste all that ribbon filling in that space. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and glue our spine down now. So I'm going to add some adhesive. You can certainly use liquid glue for this, whatever. We'll stick that down. And now we have this cute little gatefold. Okay, so we're going to decorate the panel or the front. So I have here another piece of that fabulous DSP. Got a little bit of green cardstock on there. This is the largest square from the Stylish Shape size. It's a little shy of 3 inches square, but you're going to see it's going to fit on there just perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to have this in a diamond orientation. I've already stamped and heat embossed in white this little sentiment from the stamp set, the Hello Harvest stamp set. So it's heat embossed in white on black cardstock. And then I have my floral images that I've already stamped and colored ahead of time. And we are going to layer those above and below our banner. Okay, so I'm going to add, where'd my seal go? There it is. So we're going to add a little bit of tape to the back of our banner. We'll add our first floral there on top, and the second one's just going to tuck underneath, kind of like that, okay? And then that is going to layer onto our die cut diamond or square, as the case may be, with some dimensionals. So we'll add a couple of dimensionals here. Go. And we'll get rid of our backings. Hello, welcome to our new viewers who have just joined us. We are working with the Rustic Harvest Suite from the Stampin Up July-December mini catalog. This is all about fall today. Love me some fall. So we're working with this fabulous suite. So now we're going to go ahead and adhere our diamond. So you can decide which way you want your card to open. Because you see how my diamond here hangs over this edge just ever so slightly. I didn't want my thing to open this way, because if it did, it was going to bend that corner. So instead it's going to open this way. Okay, totally up to you, whichever way you want it to work. But because I want mine to swing open from to the right, I'm going to make sure I put my adhesive. I'm going to flip my diamond over here, line it up with my gatefold, and I'm only going to put adhesive on this right side. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of seal and just make sure that my adhesive is only going where it's going to stick to this side of the gatefold. So I'm sticking this down. I'm going to center the points of my diamond with the opening on my card. Just like that. And when I open it, there we go. Good. We didn't screw up. All right. Next, we're going to add our basic white panel for the inside. Now on my sample, you can see I stamped some more of the floral image. I'm not going to take the time to do that right now. But this piece is cut to 3 7/8 by 4 1/8. So just shy of a square. And that you're going to see is going to fit just nicely inside our card. So we'll add a little bit of adhesive here. And we're going to pop this in. Now you certainly could stamp on this, you could stamp a sentiment, or just leave it plain so you have lots of space to write. And the nice thing about this sentiment is it could work for anything, right? Wishing you the loveliest day. I could make this an anniversary card or a wedding card. for a fall wedding or a birthday card, whatever. Okay, we're going to add our little bow. So we're going to tie another cute little gingham bow, make our bunny ears, and just pull until we get something we're happy with. Make this a little bit smaller. There we go. And we'll trim our tails. And then that is going to pop on where we gathered the ribbon. Okay, so it's going to go on right about there with a glue dot. So we'll just press the knot into a glue dot. And that is going to go right about there. And there we go. Isn't that pretty? Super cute, super easy, fun fold. Lots of different things you can do with this one. Okay, so that is number 3. And normally I would be wrapping things up, but I have a really cute little box that I learned how to make from a demonstrator in the US who's a friend of my Stampin' BFF. Her name is Audra Monk. She's known as the Crafty Yogi, and she does really, really cute stuff. So I learned how to make this cute little box. My team, for our monthly meeting, we had a swap challenge that was anything but a card. So we had fall themed, anything but a card. So I made this cute little box. So the belly band slides off. It opens like this, and you got lots of room. You could put like loads of Halloween candy in there. You could slide a gift card in there. There's lots of things. You could put some soaps in there. Some really cute ideas you could do. So I'm going to show you how to do this. It's super simple. I have all my pieces pre-cut, so this will go quickly. I heard my husband come home with takeout, so I'm going to be quick because my tummy's growling. So to start, I've got all my dimensions here. I'm just going to give them to you. So this piece is 3 3/4 by 8 inches. It's Sahara sand cardstock, and it is scored at 2, 2.5, 5.5, and 6. Okay, so I'm going to fold my score lines inwards. So I'm doing everything towards the inside. Okay, flip this around. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Make sure that's nice and straight. Okay, so this is going to sort of form the outside of our box. Okay, then we have our inside pocket, this little piece here, and this piece is 4 by 5 3/4 inches, and with the long side at the top I've scored at 1/2 and 1 inches on either end. So 1/2 and 1, then flip it around 1/2 and 1. Okay. Then with the short side at the top, I'm scoring at 1/2 and 1. So that's all you really need to remember, 1/2 and 1 on 3 sides. Okay, this top is going to be the top of our box. All right, so then we need to do a little bit of trimming to form our box. So you can see what I did on this side. This is what you end up with when you score. So you can see I've cut out these sort of 3 little squares here. So we're going to do that on this side. So we'll cut 1. 2, 3. Get rid of those guys. Whoops, come on. I can hear them eating my Chinese. We ordered Chinese tonight. I can hear them eating it upstairs. They better save me some. All right, so there we go. Okay, now the other thing I need to do is cut all the way up with this because we're going to make a little flap here. So I'm going to extend my cut up to that second horizontal line, and then I'm going to notch that flap just so that it folds nicely. Okay, I'm also going to notch this one. I'm going to angle it a little bit, just again to create a smooth fold, and then same thing at the top. Now that's an optional step, but it's one that I like to do when I'm constructing boxes just because I find they come together a little bit more square. Okay, so then I'm going to fold my flaps, all my little flaps. I'm going to fold them inwards. And you can probably see how this is going to come together. So these little guys, these little flaps here are going to get stuck to the bottom, just like that. Okay, and then these are going to fold inwards, and that's going to adhere to here. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of seal on these little flaps here. So 1 and 2. So we're going to tuck them in, get them nice and straight. Okay. And then these guys are going to fold inwards, and I should have done this before, but that's okay. We're going to use liquid glue because I can't put seal on because I've already stuck this together. I should have done it ahead of time. That's all right. We're going to just add a little bit of liquid glue all the way around. Now, I would recommend using tear and tape or seal. If I had done this before I put it together, it would have been easier, but that's okay. So I have my little box, and what's going to happen is that is going to fit inside this middle section on our sort of case that we made. So we're going to just kind of lay this in place, and what I like to do is just sort of wiggle it into position. Now, because I use liquid glue, I'm going to have to hold this for a second until it has time to set up. And I like to just, oh, and I forgot to punch out my little notch. That's okay. I got my mind on Chinese food, you guys. That's what I'm thinking about. So you'll see on here, I glued my DSP and then I punched using that cute little label die, a little notch to make it easier to pull the treats out of. I didn't do that on here. Oh, well, whoever gets this will have to work a little harder to get their treats. That's all. All right, so we're going to decorate our box now. So I have some DSP here. This large piece is going to go on our little pocket on the insides. We're going to go ahead and add, whoops, lid's already off that, Lena. We'll add a little bit of adhesive and stick this down. So now, if I had remembered to do this before I stuck my box together, at this point I would punch, okay? I'd punch both at once. It makes it a little bit easier, so you don't have to worry about trying to line things up. Okay, and then top and bottom. On the top, I added a little bit. This is the reverse side of that DSP, so we're going to stick that one on there. And then this little white one, we're going to stamp first, and that's going to get stuck on there. So we'll stamp that in a minute, but we're going to glue this one on first. I will give you the dimensions for these little pieces in the video description after I am done. So we'll add this guy on here. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the white piece there, but we are going to decorate the front of our box, and we're going to add the green on top and the plaid on the bottom. Okay, so we'll add, whoops, throwing my glue around. It is time for dinner, you guys. We ate lunch at school at 10:45 a.m. So by this time of day, I am one hungry camper, let me tell you. So we did green on top. We're going to do plaid on the bottom. So when I heard that Chinese food arrive, that's all that's on my mind right now. And making sure that they save me some. All right, there we go. So that is going to close just like that. Okay, now we need to decorate our belly band. So to make our belly band, first of all, we're gonna just take, this is a 1 by 8.5 inch strip of cardstock, and we're just gonna lay it across the front of our box, and we're just gonna wrap it around. Now I'm not gonna wrap it super tightly because we want to make it possible to get this belly band on and off without having to work too hard. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of crease it there. Gonna add a little bit of seal to the one end. And we are going to overlap them and stick it, okay? Then I have a 7/8 by 8.5 inch piece of DSP. So that is going to, the same thing's gonna happen, but this time we are going to add seal around the full length. And we are going to center this on our belly band as we go. Now you can certainly use liquid glue for this. You do have to wait a little bit longer for things to set up when you use liquid glue, but it is doable. So we'll just wrap this all the way around. I'm going to add a little extra seal to the end to make sure this stays put. There we go. Okay. Now I have already colored one of the pumpkins. I'm going to show you how to do the other one for the inside, but I've already colored one. And I've die cut a couple of additional pieces. Now these are actually from the ranunculus dies, which just happened to be in the same case as I had my rustic pumpkins. They're stored alphabetically, ranunculus, rustic. So I thought, oh, that kind of looks like a pumpkin leaf. And that kind of looks like just some fall dried weeds. So we're going to add that to our pumpkin. So that's how that happens. Sometimes inspiration comes in the strangest places. So we're going to add our little leaf here, and we're going to add our little weed here, okay, and then that is going to get stuck to our belly bands. We just want to take care when we're adding our dimensionals that we put our dimensionals only as high up as we need to accommodate our pumpkin. I'm going to put one more there and that should do it. So we'll get rid of our backings and we're going to pop that on. Let me put that a no, I can't put it lower. It's got to stay where it was. Otherwise, we're going to see our dimensionals. Okay. And then I have a little sentiment here. This is stamped and die cut using the Charming Sentiments bundle. So I'm going to add just a couple of mini dimensionals to the back of this. I love the Charming Sentiments bundle. If you have not checked that out, it is in the annual catalog. And I should mention that stamp set is going to be on sale on Thursday as part of the stamp sale. So Stampin' Up! Just announced a flash sale coming up this Thursday, September 15th. 24 hours. All the stamps in the annual catalog will be on sale for 15% off with the exception of host sets. Okay, so you can pick up the Charming Sentiments stamp set for 15% off, which is pretty sweet. All right, so we're going to add a little bit of a linen thread bow to our pumpkin here on the outside. So I'm just going to double up my thread and tie a wee bow. It would be a really, I was thinking it would make a really cute Thanksgiving place setting. I am hosting, I think, my entire family for Thanksgiving this year. I'm hoping my parents are able to come down. We have not had a full family meal together in, well, it's been many years. So I'm really hoping that they're well enough and able to come. And my brother's supposed to be coming from Michigan, and my husband's family is coming from Toronto, and I'm doing the whole Thanksgiving dinner with all the trimmings this year. So I'm excited about that, and I think these would make adorable little place settings. So there we go. So that's the outside of our box. Let me slide this off for a minute and show you what we're going to do on the inside. So I have another pumpkin here. I haven't colored this one just yet. So I wanted it to be quite soft. So I used pale papaya. Would you think pale papaya would work for pumpkins? Well, it does. Is this my dark? It is. I need light first. Oh, you know why? Did you see that? I had my dark lid on my light. That's why I grabbed the wrong one. My dark lid was on the end of my light pale papaya. It happens. So I am coloring sort of half the pumpkin at a time. I don't want to color the whole thing because I want to make sure when I add my shadow that the ink is still a little bit wet. So I'm just being really kind of quick with this. I'm not filling the entire thing in super carefully. I'm going to add my dark, which is going to create a lovely little bit of a shadow effect. And I don't want to have to do too much blending here because I want it to stay nice and light. So by making sure that my ink was still wet when I added the dark, it kind of blends and bleeds a little bit on its own, which makes it much easier to sort of finish up and add that last little bit of blending. Okay, and then we're going to do the other half, or other, I don't know, 2/5. 40%, I guess that is 2/5, right? I can do math. Yep, I can. All right, and then again, we'll add a little shadow. I like to kind of go along the sort of the seam on each segment of the pumpkin. Just add a bit of shadow there. A little bit more along the bottom. And then again, we're just going to blend that out super quick. I'm not being overly careful. And there you go. Easy peasy coloring that guy. And then we're just going to add a little bit of the light crumb cake for the stem. So I colored the pumpkin on the front in the same way. Okay, I figured you didn't have to watch me color it twice. So there we go. All right, and then again, we have a couple little vines, die cut, again, from Mossy Meadow cardstock with some adhesive sheets on the back. So we're going to add one kind of curling around the stem. And then the other one's going to kind of come out from the bottom. We're going to add that after we stick this down. So we're going to stick this guy down. I'm going to stick him flat because this is going on the inside of my box and I don't want it to sort of bump when I try to close it. So we're going to stick our pumpkin down. And then we're going to add our vine sort of creeping along the ground. Get rid of our There's a little bit there that didn't pop out. There we go. So I'm gonna add this one, kind of creeping along here. And then our sentiment. So remember the front said just for you, and on the inside it says because you totally deserve it. We totally deserve to eat too much food on Thanksgiving. Right? Right. So we're going to add this little guy right about there. Make sure that's straight. It's really hard to tell if things are straight when I'm not looking straight down on it. There we go. Okay, now to do our white panel, I've got this little bit of basic white. I wanted to be able to write a little something down here, maybe to personalize the gift for each person. So I've got a little bit of Mossy Meadow cardstock and then the leaf stamp from the Hello Harvest stamp set. So I'm going to stamp a couple of leaves. And then I'm going to ink and stamp off once and stamp a leaf. And there we go. Super quick and easy. So we will add that to the inside of our box. Just like that. And we're done. We'll just add our belly band back on. And we are good to go. There we go. Isn't that cute? Cute, cute, cute little box. Thank you to Audra Monk for her design. All right, let me show you a couple more ideas with this bundle, and then I'm going to sneak peek my soft seedlings class, which is open for registration right now. So here are a couple more ideas using this fabulous stamp set. This is one I posted earlier today. Love this. I had so much fun coloring this one. And then we have All About the DSP. Love me some fall mums. So we got that one. This one I fussy cut a whole bunch of gourds and some leaves. Here is a monster. This is a mega arrangement. So monster pumpkin with loads of flowers and fall leaves. Here's a little bit of a rustic take on it with some tree rings and some more leaves. And then this is a cute little pop-out surprise card. So it looks like a little house, but then when we open it, we get these little pop-up pumpkins. How cute is that? So fun little take on a fun fold there. And then this one, I actually shot a reel for. So you're going to get to see this. I'm going to post it tomorrow and you'll be able to see how I did it. Super quick and easy, but again, beautiful fall card that could be used for just about any occasion. So there you go. There's some ideas using the Hello Harvest bundle and suite. And let me show you quickly the projects for my soft seedlings class. So this one is open for registration now. Registration closes on Friday. You get the stamp set included. If you already have the stamp set, you can substitute equal value. It doesn't have to be a stamp set. It could be a product, other product of equal value instead of the stamp set, but you will need the stamp set to do the class. Okay, so here we go. This is all about techniques. So number one, super simple, gorgeous ombre stamping. This one is a really cool watercolor technique. Another watercolor technique. Some beautiful ink blending. And we've got some ombre stamping and a fun fold. So those are the 5 cards for my soft seedlings class. The class is $45 here in Canada. And as I said, if you already have the stamp set, you can substitute equal value. It is not available to anyone outside of Canada, unfortunately. Okay, I don't offer a PDF only option right now. When I retire and have more time to generate the PDFs, I will totally be doing that. But right now, I can't offer that at the moment. Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I know it was a little extra long today. Thanks for hanging with me. I hope you enjoy your evening. I'm going to go enjoy my Chinese food. Thank you, Joyce. And I will see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.